Hello and welcome back to Rustmouth, where I go through my endless boxes and try and find things to put in my Lego town of Rustmouth. We already did a Star Wars video last month. Consider that foreshadowing. What do we have in the first box? Paradisa set, 6416 Poolside Paradise, and 6160 Sea Scorpion from the Aquazone Stingrays. Under that we've got the Lion Dance, and under the Sea Scorpion we've got 360 Gravel Quarry. Lovely little industrial set. Okay, in the Lion Dance box, there was also a handful of railway adjacent bits and bobs, magnet connectors all through the ages, spare rods, spare wheels through the ages. I've thrown them down on a bit of track that I have spare. There will be more railway content as soon as I find the rest of the track. Over here, I've put down the Lion Dance. I've made a bit of a plaza with the other Chinese New Year set from 2 months ago even. You can see they're still preparing. This guy down here is still doing the calligraphy on the bunting. One of the lines is still just arriving. This probably isn't a permanent arrangement, but it is going to stay like this for now because it takes up a nice amount of space until I find something more appropriate. Back to those other two boxes, we have the Aquazone Stingray Sea Scorpion, beautiful gatefold lid, as was the style at the time. I've left the manual in here. Through the window, you can see I've left the set all built up in there. I'm not going to try and get out on camera because the tray's a bit awkward. The plastic window is a little bit tight. You can see there's nice chrome elements in this set. If I bring the manual back, we can have a better look at it. It came with these nice fully chromed crystal pieces, and these weird, almost Sontaran looking helmets, and these messed up faces they've got. But that is underwater and possibly on a different planet, so it's no good for Rustmouth. So let's look at Poolside Paradise. Beautiful gatefold lid, as was the style at the time. The alternate builds on the inside. I'm probably going to leave it in the default configuration for now. Clearly it's all parted down, so let's go and get it all built back up. So here it is. I've connected the driveway to the road, or that awkwardly blocks off the other lane. In the driveway, he's got a nice little convertible, I guess it's meant to be a sports car, but it's 4 wide. It's got a radio aerial. That's how you know it's old. That and it being 4 wide. I think the bonnet's quite rare in black. Next to him, he's got his wife sunbathing by the pool. And there's a couple of old plants and a letter. And in the post box, there's even a couple more letters. It's so generous with the printed parts. Back in the day, there's this parrot in a glass enclosure. It's the classic fully printed parrot, not the half marbled thing they do now. And there's the palm tree with the beautiful classic palm tree trunk piece. Never should have been retired. Up top, there's a sort of restaurant type thing with the butler and the daughter behind some even bigger glass panels. Back here, this plant pot is actually a clear minifigure head, which is kind of cool. Don't see too many of those. The daughter's face is actually the standard smile with freckles, which is a really cool print I didn't know existed until I got this set. I don't think it's so much use outside of Paradisa. It is open around the back for access to the kitchen. There's the suggestion of a sink, and there's a coffee machine. And I guess those drawers could be for an oven. Otherwise, there is just the hob with the pan on. Well, the suggestion of the hob. There's a pan at least. And under the coffee machine, there's a second mug in that nice old pink. The kitchen's partially on grass and partially on this grey plate that's covering up one of the holes that's built into the moulded base plate. And down the other side, there's a giant old pink staircase. It's kind of hard to tell on the camera because of the cold pavement, but the driveway is sloped very slightly at the edge. And they managed to use this base plate 3 more times with very different print designs to the one they used here. In this set, it's in this weird light green colour that I think is only really used in Paradisa sets, so it's giving off a weird vibe, and certainly not a very British vibe, but it can stick around until I find something better to take up that space. But the car will stick around, and the figures probably will too. Okay, well, I reckon we've got time for one more box. Let's try for something that's not destined to be removed. Here we go. What do we have in here? Ooh, it is the 76961 Visitor Centre from Jurassic Park. That can go straight into Dino Island. And here it is. It's not studded in because the diagonal bits, it kind of needs the full set of stairs as well. It needs to be lifted up a bit. It's got that lovely mural around the door, but it's really lacking that grand staircase that it has in the film. I bought this set without figures and dinosaurs because I already have a T-Rex from Jurassic Park, and I already have a Velociraptor from Jurassic Park. And between those two sets, I also have most of the characters that came with this visitor centre. And I bought it to put it in Dino Island specifically. It also came with another T-Rex skeleton, which is a lot smaller than this one that I already had, which is much closer in size to the brick-built T-Rex. So that's the one that I want to keep, is the big one. But obviously it's way higher up than like the When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth banner. That needs to be high enough to fall on top of it. So we are going to have to raise it up. And this one is that much smaller because that's what scales with the visitor centre. The way they've built it, I'm going to have to figure something out, make it bigger, make it taller. I haven't really figured out the finer details of the plan. I've only got so much space to work with. I might spin it around so that it's facing the edge of the table. And also in that box was this 122404 Baby Raptor and Laboratory. It can go somewhere, I guess. No, how about in there? If we move the information board about the T-Rex skeleton actually next to the skeleton, and then the lab can go sort of indoors-ish. It is blue and white because it's a Jurassic World set. It's probably destined to get parted down, really. I only bought it for the unique Baby Raptor. The same fate will probably be met by this T-Rex skeleton. It's got a little tiny cheese slope plaque that says T-Rex compared to the one on here, which you can't really see. It has a whole scale diagram. So I have 3 T-Rex fossils now because I also have the Ideas one, and they're all at different sizes. Anyway, between those 2 sets, we now have sort of all of the indoor area of the visitor centre covered. It should all be dilapidated and run down. It needs to get overgrown. But that's it for the moment. Thanks for watching.